Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm back live for my second Dream Destinations show so we can all discover Alaska. I'm hoping that this series inspires travel to all my viewers by bringing bucket list destinations to your device. If you're ready to hear all about Alaska, punch those heart buttons. If you're here live, hashtag live. And if you're here or catching the replay, hashtag replay. All right. I'm Keisha Adriano with TravelWise International. Um, I'm here just to kind of show you and teach you all about, not, well, educate you. Maybe you know about these destinations. Maybe you want to know a little bit more, but that's what I'm here for, to bring the destination to you. I have a question for you. How many types of ways can you experience Alaska? Drop it in the comments now. No cheating. When I first learned about Alaska, I did not realize the mass variety of options available to experience Alaska. I know people who have been 4 to 5 different times, and each time they come back and they're like, I wish could have stayed a little bit longer. And every time it's a different experience. Some adventure experiences um, include viewing sightseer prizes like moose, bears, Dall sheep, caribou, and wolves that roam Denali National Park. Helicopter rides in Denali is an unforgettable experience of seeing Denali from above. And adding that glacier landing to your tour is that extra touch. Hiking through the vast wilderness to see waterfalls, impressive glaciers, alpine lakes, and suspension bridges. There's also a variety of hiking trails that would attract all different skill levels. Camping or glamping is an option. Who has seen a whale? Hashtag whale. I really want to know how common it is that people have actually viewed and seen and experienced a whale. Just the thought of that magical experience of a whale breach next to you. So, whale watching is a must. Lake and river kayaking is a great way to experience up close and experience glaciers, icebergs, forest, and even breaching whales. Last but not least, who doesn't want to go bear viewing? All right, guys. But there is one way to really get your feet wet. There are so many misconceptions that I just wanted to bring my partner, Miss Amy Bonheim, with Royal Caribbean to talk why Alaska should be on your bucket list. Calling smash those heart buttons as we welcome the one, the only Amy Bonheim. All right, hashtag RCCL. All right, Amy, come on through.
Hello. Thank
Hello,
you so much for having
hello.
me today.
Of course, of course. You're one of my favorite. You know that, right?
One. I think I am your
I mean, you
favorite.
are my favorite. I apologize. You're right. I retract my words. All right, someone's on here, but I can't see your name. If you want to hashtag your name, I can give you a shout out to Itsaram25. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you get some value out of this interview. So, Amy, thank you for coming for my second interview. The number one misconception, the number one question that I get asked is, when is the best time to go to Alaska? Can you go to Alaska year round?
Well, is there really a bad time to cruise to Alaska? I don't think so. We at Royal Caribbean, we actually have focus on summer sailings, and I'm sure that's probably an obvious answer that we do focus on the summer. But really, there's no time between those summer sailings that I would say one is better than the other. I mean, really, no matter what, you're going to get a great experience. And it just depends really what type of itinerary you're looking for. I think that's more of what the focus should be on. It's, do you want an open jaw itinerary? Are you looking for something round trip? Are you looking for certain types of experiences? Are you looking for a cruise tour on top of your cruise? I think those are more of the better questions to ask, but really there's no bad time to cruise to Alaska.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. The next question is, what type of people are cruising to Alaska? Because a lot of people assume it's the retirees, it's the older generations. Do you have a response to that?
Well, I can say I am not a retiree and I've been there twice. So, no, honestly, that's a really good question. And I think traditionally, like what people think of with Alaska is that it is our senior demographic, but that's not the case anymore. Just as an example, with Royal Caribbean, as you know, we're a multi generational brand. And
Mhm.
many of our ships, especially the four that we have in Alaska for 2022, um, have options for the multi generational group. So whether that's Adventure Ocean, our kids program, or whether that's different activities on board our flow rider on our quantum class. I mean, can you imagine literally surfing on a ship in like with glaciers in your background? Like that's a once in a lifetime experience. And point being, there's so many different activities on board and in Alaska as well. I mean, whether even when you're in Alaska and maybe you're jeep riding, maybe you're doing an ATV tour, or maybe you're doing, a different excursion that's really focused on the group that you're going with, or even for you and your family, or you as a couple. It's a destination that everyone should experience. And a bucket list item doesn't mean a bucket list at a certain time of your life. Like you can have a bucket list item and check it off now, right?
Yes, yes. That is what I'm preaching. I know Alvin and I have been talking about Alaska for it was we were supposed to go 2000 yeah, 2020. And so we're doing a family reunion. So we have next year we have a big group going July. So if you guys are interested, you can definitely join our group. But yeah, we're even gonna bring the kids. That was the first thing. Should we bring the kids? We have young ones. But I know with the Royal Caribbean boat, which you're gonna get into later, they have a lot of activities for the children. They actually have somewhere that they can go and be entertained and be educated all at the same time. So you don't have that warrior stress and you can experience both with your family and without. So I do love that about Royal Caribbean. All right. And my next question. Oh, before I get on, hi, Isa. So good to have you on here. And I see my husband said, hi, ladies. I'm my biggest fan. All right. Okay. So, with all that being said, who's tired of virtual schooling? So, I know Amy and I have, that's mostly what we talk about when we do talk, but I am done. I am done with this virtual schooling. I sent my daughter back to school, I think a month ago, and it's been so much better. I mean, for her, I mean, of course, for us, we work 24/7 from the home, so it has been a relief. But I know that now Amy has the cure to all of our anxieties.
Oh yes, a cure on board a Royal Caribbean cruise ship to Alaska. I mean, it's a once, I think twice, three times, four times, but honestly, like it, especially with the internet available on board and the internet wherever we need to be these days, why not work while you're on vacation, right? Or why
Oh,
not?
don't say that. I mean, Amy, we work all the time. If you give my husband that idea, I mean, we
Well, take the kids out of
don't. I mean,
school.
we technically do work. We go on vacation. I'm not gonna lie,
Take
but
the kids out of
no.
school and put them on a cruise ship.
Exactly. I like this idea actually. And maybe we can put our feet up on the deck while we have our laptops and watching glaciers go by. Okay. All right. This is a win. All right. Last question. When people think cruising, they think warm weather, beaches, um, yeah, Caribbean mostly is what I get. So, what would you say to those patchers? What kind of mindset do you have when you envision Alaska as a traveler?
Well, for those who have cruised before, it's a similar cruise experience, and for those who you haven't, I'll try to give a little bit of a vision of what it's like. I mean, the idea of being able to wake up in a new port every morning, that's still part of the experience, when you're going to a non-Caribbean location.
Mm.
I think one thing that's even more beautiful about the Alaska itineraries is that, just an example like Hubbard Glacier or going through the Inside Passage, those are destinations that you can experience from the ship. So, I mean, like you can't stop and get off at Hubbard Glacier, right? So you're able to experience so much from where you are on board, and that's something that you can't do unless you're on a cruise ship, right? So there are a lot of benefits to doing an Alaskan cruise, and And really, the mindset, I think, is just that you pack a jacket and instead of packing maybe a bikini.
Yes,
I think
yes,
you still need some
exactly.
sunscreen in Alaska, but
Maybe you don't have to worry about that weekly diet, the one you go in and you do that extreme diet for 2 weeks before you hit the bikini. All right,
I've
ladies,
never
we want this
dieted on
for
a
you.
cruise ship, so I'm not sure I can't help you with that question.
No, but I mean, Alaska is something that if it's not on your bucket list, this is why. Of course, this is what we're telling you, but just natural pureness, getting back to no pollution, not hearing cars outside of your door, being able to experience wilderness and just how many types and how many ways that you can do Alaska. That's what's intriguing is that when I first started selling it, I was just doing maybe the inside passage, or I do northbound. But then I really found out that they have a land portion and that you can connect them. And then there's just so many more ways. You can stay on land, you can do train, you can connect a cruise with a train. I mean, there's just so many different ways to experience Alaska. And so here I am. I know we're all very excited to hear about how we can all travel to Alaska in Royal Caribbean style. So the floor is all yours, hon.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So, I mean, honestly, I feel like you already sold me on Alaska, so I'm not sure if there's anything left for me to say, Keisha. But honestly, like you said, there is so much history and culture and beauty in Alaska. And the vastness of the untouched wilderness that you see there, I mean, you are seeing the wildlife and the creatures in their natural habitat. It's just such an amazing, unique experience that you really only get to experience in Alaska. I mean, it's the only place that you can have so many of these experiences. The wildlife, the scenery. So I'm going to show you a quick little video just to get us started, but to really just kind of dip your toe into what it's like in Alaska. I mean, if that doesn't make you want to go on a cruise to Alaska, I don't know. I mean, it's just honestly, there's so many things to experience. Just like Keisha, just like you said earlier, I mean, there are a million ways to experience one location, and you can go there over and over and over again and not have the same experience twice. Just some examples of the different experiences that we can provide when you go to Alaska. Seeing the different fjords. I mean, the gold panning right here, dead center on the screen. You can actually literally mine for gold, and it's what an amazing experience. I mean, a lot of the history and culture of Alaska was founded because of the gold rush back in the 1800s, and that's how Juneau, the capital of Alaska, was even created, was because of the gold rush. And there's so much history and culture. And really, I would say the top three reasons why people go to Alaska is the culture, the scenery, and the wildlife. And really, with all the different experiences that you can have in Alaska, you really do get all three of those, especially on a cruise, being able to sit on your balcony and being able to see whales outside of your balcony and go through the passage and see the glaciers and being able to see maybe different goats on the mountaintops and all of that right from where you are on board. It's such an amazing experience. And bottom left, I know you were talking about seeing whales. I mean, I'll tell you, I did do an excursion in Alaska, and though obviously we can't control nature or when they decide to show up, I mean, but we were like swimming in on our boat with those whales. I mean, they were everywhere, and it was just the most beautiful organic experience. It felt as if we were right there swimming alongside with them. And it was just so beautiful. And that's the type of experience that you can have on one of our whale tours. And then another one that I love to highlight is the dog sledding tour. This is such a popular tour, and for good reason. This one specifically in Juneau, you actually get on a helicopter, and from that helicopter, I mean, imagine being however many feet in the air and looking down and think of all the beautiful sights that you see from up in a helicopter. I mean, you literally, it's like something you can't even describe. But you get to see all the waterways and the forests and the mountains and the snow. In addition to the scenery, the animals, all the wildlife that you could potentially see from up above. And not only that, but then guess what? They drop you off at a glacier. You're literally walking on like on ice, and you have the opportunity to go dog sledding, which is so much part of Alaskan culture, as most of you know. The Iditarod races there, and previously that's how Native Alaskans got around was through that. So there's just so much history and culture that you can experience in Alaska. And that's what we hope to share with you tonight, is that we want to share with you all the beautiful things that are part of discovering this destination. Now, we talked about scenery a little bit because, like I said, I think culture, scenery, and wildlife, those are the top three, I think, for people who decide that they want to take the plunge and go on a cruise to Alaska. Now, I want to kind of describe this to you. I mean, the pictures are beautiful, but really it's one of those locations where pictures just will never, ever do this location justice. So when you are looking at this beautiful scenery, and it's when you're there in person, and it's this panoramic view from left to right, mountains, water, just so much to see. And you take a picture and you look at your phone, and it doesn't look anything like what you're looking at in person. Because your phone and your camera just won't do it justice. You can never capture how beautiful it is in real life onto your phone. But really, with the scenery, there's so many different things that you can experience, as you see in the pictures, whether you're walking on a glacier, whether you're seeing the beautiful landscape from a lodge that you're staying at, or on one of our cruise tours, or even from the ship, or passing Hubbard Glacier from your balcony. I mean, that's just some of the really, truly amazing parts of Alaska are the different landscapes that you can experience. And the wildlife, oh my goodness. I know that, Keisha, you had mentioned some of these animals, and oh my word, I mean, truly, it's just like some fun facts for you. I don't know if you knew, but bald eagles in Alaska, it's the largest population in the world of bald eagles are found in Alaska. I mean, they're our country's national bird. Like, we should see them more frequently. But they're just so beautiful. I mean, they have a wingspan of 7 feet. Like, I don't even think I know how big that is. 7 feet wide is their wingspan. But they're really, like, you can see them everywhere. I remember doing the cruise tour and being able to see them from their white heads, just there on the banks of the water, eating fish and doing what birds do. But it's just such a majestic experience being able to see them in person. You have the caribou, whales, bears. I mean, there are over 50,000 black bears in all of Alaska, and I think like 35,000 brown bears or grizzly bears in Alaska. And it's not that we ever promise wildlife sightings, but when you are there, seeing them in their natural habitats, you get to see them in such an organic way where, just like you see the bear eating a fish, it's just like they're so undisturbed. It's such a beautiful, beautiful experience. And then a fun fact about caribou, I don't know if you guys knew this, but supposedly there's actually more caribou in Alaska than there are Native Alaskans. So it just goes to show that there's so much wildlife in this beautiful state. So a little bit of a transition. So we do have 4 itineraries in Alaska for 2022. I know that Keisha had said that they have a group in July of 2022. That's actually going to be on Serenade of the Seas. But just wanted to share with you that there are so many different options, and we talked a little bit about family, right, and family options, and really just options for everyone. There's two different types of ships that we have, and I think that's like one of the really amazing things about doing a cruise in Alaska is that you get to experience not only the Native American culture firsthand and the beautiful nature and the natural wonder of all these amazing destinations. You know, the exhilarating experience of seeing an animal and spotting it and having that chance to take a picture of it. But it's not just that, but it's also you get just as much experience on board our Royal Caribbean cruise ship. So this is an example of two of the ships that we have. This is our Quantum class. So we have a Quantum of the Seas and Ovation of the Seas. And as you see, they have an amazing structure and lots of windows and balcony space for you to be able to look outside and see it. And in this picture, you'll even see a little glass orb at the top. That is part of your experience on board a cruise ship. It goes 300 feet in the air. And imagine being 300 feet in the air and a glass orb, being able to look at the beautiful fjords around you and the beautiful glacial experiences. I mean, it's just because you get to go on this fabulous cruise ship, you get to almost see so much more of the destination that you're going to. But in addition to that, there's also the Bionic Bar, Seaplex. There's so many different experiences on board. This is our in the big picture in the background. You'll see our skydiving simulator. In the bottom right, there's our flow rider, the one that we were talking about earlier, like surfing with the glaciers in the background. Like that is amazing. I mean, and it's just truly, 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 you get so much on board the ships as well as shoreside. And this is Serenade. So this is actually the ship that Keisha has. Keisha and Alvin have booked for July of 2022. This is the ship that they have. And the Serenade and the Radiance, they both actually are they have full glass on the sides of the ship. So, I mean, literal acres of glass around the sides of the ship. And that's a great talk point, because that means that wherever you are in the public spaces, that you have the option to look outside and experience Alaska through the ship. And when you're going through the passage and the Hubbard Glacier and experiencing, those are destinations that when you go there on a cruise ship, you're actually on the cruise ship as you sail through them, right? And sail by them. So having the opportunity on both of these ship classes to be able to look outside and really bring that outside of Alaska kind of on board to the ship with you, it's just such an amazing experience. Strongly recommend. But we also have activities. We have amazing Broadway style shows, the solarium, food. I mean, there's so much to do on board that there's just really it's like the best type of way to view Alaska. So this is a little bit about the itinerary that we have for 2022. So we have Vancouver, then you sail through the inside passage as you see. So I'm starting at the orange dot, and you sail up through the inside passage, and you go to all of these beautiful destinations: Sitka, Juneau, Skagway, and some of the history that you get there. I told you about the gold rush, and there's a fish salteries. There's so many different places to see and experience. There's in all of these destinations. And then cruise tours. Oh my gosh. So, one thing that Keisha, that you had said earlier when you were introducing us is that you had said that clients that you have that have gone to Alaska come back to you and they tell you, when you ask them, how was your trip? They say, I wish it was longer. And that was really awesome feedback that your clients have provided for you. And it's just amazing because now you can share that with your future clients or clients that want to come back and say, oh, guess what? I can actually make that a longer trip for you. So what a cruise tour is actually adding on a land portion of Alaska to your cruise portion. So we have pre-land and post-sailing options, both different options to add on to your cruise. And really, I think it's just adding on to that amazing destination. When you do a land portion, it's, I mean, there's so many amazing features. One, you're with one group. There's no more than 50 people on your tour, and it's guided. You have the same guide, the same bus driver, the same people around you the whole time. You really get to know them, and it's a wonderful experience. But you really get so much more into the culture of Alaska. You get to see things that you can't see from the ship. You're going onto the inside of Alaska. You get to see Denali, Anchorage, Talkeetna. You get to see so many more things and experience the culture within Alaska. But not only that, I think so many people that go to Alaska, they, like I said, the scenery and the wildlife and the culture, those are the top three things, right? And for those who are like, oh man, I really want to see a bear, or I really want to see a whale, or I really want to, this is like my Alaska bucket list, or per se. I mean, really, the longer that you're there, the more opportunity you have to experience those things. Because obviously, we can't control where the bears are, and we can't control where the whales are, but we obviously want you to experience that as well. And you're only making that trip 10 times better than it already would be by doing just the cruise portion. So, anyways, Keisha, I don't know if you wanted to tell them that and maybe give a little invitation to everyone.
Yes, yes. So, Royal Caribbean is holding a cruise night, and I would love to invite you guys. It's next Thursday, and this is the note to learn a little bit more about the cruise tours. So, just cruising there and being on the ship and experience the culture from the ship, and also getting off at the ports is great. It's wonderful. But even more than that, like Amy just described, adding on a couple days, doing those cruise tours just amplifies your experience. Amy, did you want to talk about the cruise night next Thursday?
Yes. Okay. So Keisha actually, she is an amazing agent, just so that you all know. I know you guys all know this, but she is so educated on Alaska. She actually had the opportunity to participate in a training with our specific cruise tour destination specialist today. And he is actually going to be coming live, and we would like to invite all of you to come to that too, where it's going to be on Thursday, this coming Thursday, the 13th at 7 p.m. And we'll definitely get you some more information. But the gentleman who is going to be hosting it, his name is Brendan, and he is our Alaska destination specialist. I mean, he specifically works with our cruise tour program, and he'll be here to really dive deep into what it's like on a cruise tour. You know, what do you talk? Tell me more about this bus tour, and tell me more about the animal sightings, and tell me more about the in-depth experience. So, if you're interested, do you want them to like?
No, hashtag
Oh,
cruise tours. And
hashtag
I will
cruise
send
tour.
you the invitation. Yes, yes, yes. Next Thursday, 7 p.m. And I will send you an invite. Hashtag cruise tours. So thank you, Amy. So much wonderful information. I definitely am going to actually next July. I am cruising with on to Alaska with on Royal Caribbean style. So I'm excited about it. Alaska is a life changing experience. Experience the beauty of the untouched, pristine waters. Um, Fresh, crisp air. Just think, we live in DC, so I mean, when and I had said this earlier, but when's the last time you were outside and you had that raw air? You know, the crisp air that's in your throat. Like I'm salivating just sitting here thinking about inhaling fresh air. So I'm from the South, so I lived in the middle of nowhere. So I miss that. So yes, thank you so much, Amy. Let's see what else before I let you go. Thank you. I hope I want to do more. So if you guys want to hear more about Alaska, we definitely want to go into the different type of itineraries, the different ships you can do. I'm talking to Amy about doing another one maybe in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We get on the books. If there's anything specific you guys would like to hear about, please throw it in the chat box and we'll talk a little bit, whether it is the cruise tours, whatever it is you would like to hear. Hashtag Alaska. And then with that being said, I just want to say hello to Chris, June, hi Dad, Janice. Thank you so much for coming out. We'll do more of these hashtag dream destinations if this is something that you want to do. Thank you, Amy. You can go. I won't keep you anymore. Um, let's see. Bye, Amy. Let me get you off here. Bye,
Bye.
hon. I'll talk to you soon. There we go. All right, guys. So now that we are in a world of overpopulation, it is nice to be able to go back and experience nature in its pure form. When is the last time you used the word majestic to describe anything? Grandeur, untouched, frontier. When's the last time you were able to use those words? And it seems untouchable to even or unrelatable to even it seems like a dream. So that's why I'm here and bringing it to you. Dream destinations, bucket list adventures. Just reach out. Let me know of things. If Alaska is where you want to go, if you want to do Australia, these are all interesting topics, interesting destinations that I would love to come here and bring it to you. Thank you so much for supporting me. And Smart People Travel Wise. I'll see you guys soon. Oh, before I go, I'm so sorry. Next Thursday, I have not sandals, beaches. Courtney Taylor's coming back. She was with us last week, but I had somebody request Turks and Caicos. And so what we'll do is we'll do beaches, Turks and Caicos. It is a family resort, but it's also great for couples. I've actually seen a lot of couples there. So if you are interested in come next week, show your support, say hello. Thank you guys. Smart People Travel Wise. Have a good night.